Hi guys, and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at what's been announced recently about the new Hellgate design, what it is, just basically all the information we've been given, my opinions on it so far. Again, there's nothing really going to be on screen. I've just got a picture of my amazing challenge character, community challenge one for tier 1 to tier 4 character. Nothing exciting, so stick it on in the background, just listen to it. It's more of a sort of talking thing than a showcase of anything. But yes, so recently, for those that aren't aware, the new Hellgate map has been shown on the forums, basically as to what it's looking to look like at the moment. So we're going to read through this post. Basically, I'll link the post in the description so you guys can have a look yourselves, but we're going to have a look at it, and yeah, basically let's go from there. So the design goals, what they want from the Hellgate. Hellgates are about PvP. Mobs should play no or a very limited role in deciding who wins the PvP fight, which I think I like. So at the moment, you get a mob on you, you basically can call that a 6th player for either team, like if you play it right. Mobs should act as a source for loot and as a time buffer that allows second team to join the Hellgate before it's finished. So basically the idea behind that is that they're nothing more than just annoyances to delay you, which, yeah, fine. I'm not sure if I like that more or less than just having like a queue to going into a Hellgate so that 2 people get matched and then you fight each other. But again, it's another way. It means you're doing something rather than like AFK somewhere. It's a good thing. Hellgate strategy should not be affected by artificial game mechanics such as timers. So if you look at the current Hellgate, the boss spawns 15 minutes after the first group goes inside. If a good group rushes the boss, you can always tell if there's another group that's been inside by how quick the boss has spawned. We had one earlier today on stream that we got to the boss, it spawned at 12 minutes. We knew there was another group in there. And funny enough, we went round, we knew they were there, we just had to find them, we found them and wiped them. So things like that is just... it's effectively what they're not wanting to happen. They don't want random timers to be the deciding factors of fights. Dodging the opposing team should not be possible. At the same time, there needs to be a legitimate way out of the Hellgate if something unexpected happens. For example, your healer disconnects. So they're in a bit of a weird situation with that one, I think, in that you shouldn't be able to dodge Hellgate, dodge teams. So you shouldn't be able to just... So at the moment, some people are going to literally walking into the Hellgates, killing as many mobs as they can and then turning around coming out. They don't want that to happen. They want Hellgates, if you go into a Hellgate, you expect to be in a PvP scenario, which I think is good. I like that. At the same time, there needs to be a legitimate way out of the Hellgate if something unexpected happens. So I don't know, but this potentially means there could just be like a safe route out, which could be exploited, maybe. Camping the opposing team's entrance should not be a valid strategy. So basically what they want it is that you come in safe and then get into the middle of it and then it's a big fight. You have mobs as like buffers and then you have actual combat that you're always going to bump into each other. So I'll link it in the chat, but there is actually a picture of the new map. I might be able to get it on the screen actually. Let's have a look, see how tech savvy I'm feeling. Yeah, there we go. So that's what the new map looks like currently. As you can see, it's a work in progress. Don't take any of this as sort of a given. But yeah, it looks interesting. Looks a bit different than the current one does. But yeah, I like it. It looks pretty cool. We'll leave that on screen. The new Hellgate is shaped like a pentagram with a circular path connecting the corner pieces. Each corner of the pentagram is a possible entrance. Which of the 5 entrances the team enters through is decided at random. Okay, so if you get into that, that's what they were saying before. So if you actually go back and look at the goals, camping the opposing team entrance should not be a valid strategy. In that you should always, if you're coming in at a random entrance, unless you get really unlucky, you should always be safe to come in, which is pretty cool. Is decided at random, which means it's impossible for the first team to know where the second team will show up in gate camp. That makes sense. Groups that enter the Hellgate get a protective bubble and cannot leave through any entrance for 5 minutes. Thank God. So what they've stopped there is people coming in, killing a couple of mobs, maybe taking a boss, or maybe taking like bosses, because they've said that there's going to be extra bosses, which we'll go into in a minute, and then leaving. Like, they've stopped that, which is good. It means that people actually have to get stuck in there for a little while, which is good. I think if you go in there, you should expect to be in there. The latter is to prevent fight dodging, and we might change this timer if deemed necessary. So I think 5 minutes is still potentially a little bit too little. Maybe 10 minutes would be a better timer. But 5 minutes, yeah, it's good. Maybe 10 minutes, but you reduce it by fighting. So call it 10 minutes, but it actually ends up being like 6, maybe 7 of constant fighting. That could potentially work. Yeah, so there'll be very few trash mobs, and those that are on the map can be released easily. This has been done to fulfill the second design goal. Make sure that PvE does not play a significant role in the Hellgate PvP fights. When a fight breaks out, players no longer have to worry about mob interference and can get to the fight right away. This also eliminates the who pulls the mob first waiting games. Yeah, so at the moment in the current Hellgate, you get standoff points, and it's a nightmare because you just sit there for ages, and like the amount of times I've whispered someone and said, look, just pull it, we're not going to attack you, I don't want to be stood there all day. Like, you just have to sort of make that decision, and the amount of people that have said, look, I don't trust you, sorry, I'm not doing it, and I get it. It's like, yeah, it's just, you sit there for ages. But yeah, however, Hellgates are not deprived of challenging PvE. Mini bosses have been added in between the entrance points. These are immobile and ranged mobs, making them impossible to leash and can be very easily disengaged. Due to how they are placed, it is impossible to hide behind them. Killing a mini boss takes roughly 2 minutes. Okay, so a 2-minute boss. That seems excessive, actually. Like 2 minutes to kill a boss. Doesn't take that to kill a boss now. If they're mini bosses, does it say how many's been added in between the entrance points? So, don't know, maybe 4, 5 entrances, pentagram, maybe. So if we call them the entrances, it's so 10, yeah. So it would be 5 mini bosses. So 10 minutes just to kill bosses, just on bosses. 10 minutes. That seems a little bit excessive. But we won't know about health and the stuff. Like, they could be, we don't know what gear they're basing that off. That could be anything. There could be so many different variables with that. These are the 3 incentives. There are 3 incentives for going after the mini bosses. First of all, they drop a significant amount of loot as well as silver and fame. Pretty decent. Secondly, killing a mini boss will grant you a damage and buff and health restoration. Lastly, killing all bosses will trigger the main boss spawn and close the Hellgate entrances. This means no other team can get in, making it a valuable objective for the first team to enter the Hellgate. Once all mini bosses are down, the main boss will not trigger right away, giving everyone enough time to move towards the centre of the map. If the mini bosses are left alive, the main boss will appear after 7 minutes after the first team has entered. The main boss will appear 7 minutes after the first team has entered the Hellgate. Killing the boss will spawn an exit portal, which can be used to instantly exit the Hellgate. So there seems like a couple of different tactics here. You could just AFK wait at the boss. I presume the boss is in the middle. You could AFK wait at the boss and just kill it once the timer's up and wait for a group to come to you. You kind of skip all the mini bosses that way, or you go around and do all the mini bosses. The fact that again you a damage buff and a health restoration, I presume that's to stop people fighting on bosses. A lot of people were waiting for like groups to engage on the boss in the current Hellgates before attacking them. This means that you could potentially get something back from that if you're close to killing it. I like the idea that if you kill all the mini bosses, the Hellgate's pretty much secure. If no one else is in there by that point, you've killed all the mini bosses, it's secure. But it also still doesn't give it to you free. It's still like, okay, it's gonna the main boss will not trigger right away, giving everyone enough time to move towards the centre of the map. So I presume there's like some sort of indication. But definitely really cool. I like the idea of having the mini bosses there. And then the massive change. Hellgates are currently connected globally, meaning that a team entering from a yellow zone could be matched against a team entering from a black zone. That's how it is currently, and I don't like it because typically you get the tier 5, tier 6 teams going into the yellow zone ones, and you get the tier 8 teams going into the Black Zone ones, and the fact that they could be linked is crazy. Like, it's just not even a fight. And I've been asking for them to be tiered for a while, and it looks like this is what they're going to do. We're changing this by splitting up Hellgates in 3 levels depending on which zone you enter them from. Ashen Hellgates, green zones, Ignited Hellgates, yellow zones, and Infernal Hellgates, red and black zones. So the Ashen Hellgate. These Hellgates are for teams of 2 players each, so we're going to have 2 versus 2 Hellgates. Each have a power cap and are perfect for beginners to Albion online who are not yet familiar with PvP and Hellgates. That's pretty cool. So it's the arena. Like, we'll see. I don't know if there's punishments, but yeah, okay, so that's really cool. So it's practicing PvP. I presume you don't lose anything. Let's have a look. Death penalty, knock down and teleport out the Hellgate. Okay, so instead of dying, you get knocked down. You get knocked down, but I get up again. Sorry, as soon as I said that, I had to go into it. Yeah, death penalty, knocked down, teleported out the dungeon. Teleported out the Hellgate. That's pretty cool. Okay, so that is a cool idea, actually. It's a safe way for people to farm and try stuff out, I suppose. Let's have a look through all of it. So teams, 2 players of 2 teams of 2 players each, so a maximum of 4 people in there. Entrance is only green zones. Death penalty, knock down and teleport out the Hellgate. Hostile counter on. I don't know what hostile counter is. Oh, wait, what? Does that tell you when there are people in there? I imagine it's the same, like it's the hostile counter from like yellow zones and red zones to tell you when people are coming in. I don't like that then. Maybe in the Ashen ones, if it's practice once you know when someone's come in, yeah, maybe. Loot, low amount of souls and runes. Fame value 1.5 times, slightly higher than yellow zones. Soft capped at 700 item power. So let's just have a look at what 700 item power is equivalent to. Oh, so tier 4, flat tier 4. Okay, that's pretty cool then. Okay, yeah, I like that. To test things. So the mobs, mob tier is tier 4, and trash mobs, mini bosses, and a chest in the centre. So the big boss doesn't spawn in this, which is pretty interesting. It's just a chest in the centre, which potentially could be something to fight over as well. This is definitely an interesting concept. I like the idea of it. I'll be interested to try this out and give it a go. Really, I'm not sure about it, if I'm honest. Okay, so we'll move on to the next ones. Ignited Hellgates. For those who are not quite ready for full loot PvP, there are Ignited Hellgates. 2 teams of 5 players each. Entrance yellow zones. Death penalty, knockdown and teleported out the Hellgate. What? What? Hostile counter on. I definitely disagree with that one. Like, I don't think hostile counters should be on. Mobs, trash mobs, mini boss, and main boss in the centre. So this one actually has the boss. Mob tier 5, and loot, low amount of souls and runes. Chests have a chance to drop level 1 soul artifacts, so the tier 1 artifacts. Fame value 1.5 times, slightly higher than yellow zones. So you get the same for the 2v2 as you do for the 5v5. It's weird. I wouldn't put the fame value for them to be the same. And soft cap at 800 item power. So, I mean, you'd get a little bit more fame out of the ignited ones, the 5v5, just because it's a tier 5 mobs, not tier 4, but I don't like the fact that they're the same fame value. The fact that you literally can't lose anything in the ignited Hellgates and potentially can still get tier 1 artifacts means that tier 1 artifacts are just going to be even cheaper because you could farm them all day long. The only part of this I don't like is the hostile counter. I don't think that needs to be on in this. I think you've got the tier 2 one, the 2v2 one. I don't think you need it in this one. It's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, but I definitely don't think, just my personal sort of spin on it, I don't think you need it. And then you have the Infernal Hellgates. Infernal Hellgates can be entered through red and black zones only. These are unrestricted version of Hellgates with the most punishing rule set, but also the best rewards. So 5v5 again, entrance is red and black zones. Death penalty is death with full loot, hostile counter off. So like basically black zone. Mobs, trash mobs, mini boss and main boss in the centre. Mob tier 5. So it's still only tier 5. I thought this would be tier 6 if I'm honest. I thought they'd start putting the mobs up to tier 6 a little bit. Loot, artifacts, souls and runes. You can get everything you can get from a normal Hellgate in this one. Basically these are the normal Hellgates now. Like the Infernal Hellgates are the same as the Hellgates we have now. The Ignited Hellgates are baby versions of the ones we've got now. I would potentially like to see red and black potentially split and have like a super dungeon for black zones. Maybe T6, maybe T7 even, like a real hard one. With like a guaranteed chance to drop a hell artifact or something. Like just one in a group or two in a group or something. Like a guaranteed chance to drop one, a 20% chance to drop a second. Like something really, really difficult that you're going to get the creme de la creme, the top people in there. Because while it makes rich, like it's sort of the rich get richer mentality, at least this way you could, at least that way you would, the top guilds wouldn't get bored of doing Hellgates, because they're not going to want to be farming tier 5 mobs all day, especially if the fame's just been nerfed substantially, potentially anyway. So that's what's been released so far. Like I said, I'll put the link down below. However, I like the changes to the 2v2. I think that's a really cool feature. I like the ignited ones, the yellow zones, as long as they turn the hostile counter off. I don't like that. And then Infernal Hellgates, I like them. The fame value is a little bit higher, which is cool. I wish they would make it either tier 6 in this one, makes the fame a little bit better, or make red and black separate and have black zones as like super ones, which would be pretty cool, I think. But yeah, so anyone interested, there's the Albion Online community, guys. The Twitch channel is going to be doing a stream later this week. I believe it's Thursday, but don't quote me on it. Doing some Hellgate show matches, which would be pretty cool. Get in there, have a look at them, see what they're doing. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Any comments you have, please stick them in the comments below. Like, subscribe, you know all the normal stuff. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you later. Goodbye.